Or maybe not. It's not working. So welcome to another gorgeous day on planet Earth and another day of dose of Did You Know, where intriguing, inspiring, unique individuals come to talk love and life and how it has brought them to where they are today. With me is Mr. Jason in this gorgeous park, whatever state you're in. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. And today I'm in Tennessee. I'm in Marion County, Tennessee, just outside of Chattanooga.
I was thinking Tennessee, like in my heart, but then I was like, oh, sometimes my heart doesn't actually connect with my brain, and there's like a malfunction that goes on. So I'm like, you better tell him. Before we get started, tell the world a little bit about who Jason is.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm a Army veteran who served for 5 years. Then after that, I became a police canine handler, and I did that for about 10 years, worked overseas in Iraq and Afghanistan as a dog handler as well, then worked for the federal government for an additional 7 to 8 years. So there's about 28 years into my profession. And I started Project Canine Hero in 2016 because I wanted to make sure I was giving back to the police, canines, and military working dogs I've been working with throughout my career. And we help them with medical care and retirement, like a VA system for dogs. And when the dog leaves service, a lot of people don't know that there's no funding set aside for their medical care. And that's even if they're hurt in the line of duty. We've had dogs in the military get blown up in explosions and things like that. There's no funding for them once they're retired. So our national nonprofit, Project Canine Hero, helps take care of those. And we also help rehabilitate and rehome dogs who don't have a place to go when their service is up either. And that's at our facility here in Tennessee. We have 177 acres here in Marion County. And we are actively rehabbing and rehoming dogs to make sure they get the quality of retirement that they deserve once they've served our country.
It is like I have two questions that I thought of that I've actually never asked you. The first one is, were you always a dog lover?
I was, and most of my premise was I didn't even know there was a dog program, that you could do that growing up. When I grew up, I just knew I wanted to be a soldier because my grandfather had served in the Marines during the Korean War. My other grandfather was a Navy Seaman in World War II, and I just wanted to grow up and be a soldier. But once I got in the military, I learned about a working dog program, and obviously as a police officer, I learned about how to become a canine handler. And then once I started seeing how cool that was, I knew that was where I wanted to dedicate the rest of my career.
Dogs are so much easier than people.
They are, and they just love unconditionally. And these dogs that we serve, these police canines and military working dogs, they put their lives on the line without hesitation, without reservation. They'll go out and do their job. And, we actually spent as taxpayers and U.S. government a lot of money into researching to say for explosive detection, which is what I did for the government. Is there a better tool out there to help find explosive devices, robots, machines, computers? And there absolutely is not. A well-trained dog is actually the best tool that we have to combat terrorism.
Interesting. You would think, I don't know. Well, it's not interesting to me that it's like makes total sense to me because I am a God-loving woman. I'm like, well, duh, like God's not going to screw things up. He's going to make this hand in hand and be perfect. But with our society and evolution and things like that, you would think that we would try to kind of push out God-made things into more human-made things. And nope. Science has proven itself wrong. The dog is the best way. What do you think makes it so that people can disconnect their heart to these dogs, to the dogs? And I feel that way because you say, like, after they're done, if they've been hurt, they're kind of like put out to pasture. Like, you wouldn't do that to a human. I mean, well, they kind of do to a human, but
I think the government and agencies they serve, state, local, and federal, they look at it as in the past they've looked at it as a tool. They looked at it as a resource, and it's my life's mission to change that way of thinking. We have a bill in Congress I've been working on the last couple of years called the Canine Hero Act, and I speak to congressional leaders and members of the Senate. They actually don't know that we as the government, military working dogs, or federal police canines don't have funding set aside for them. And I think it's just a matter of education, spreading awareness that, hey, there is a problem here. There is a disconnect. and let me be that resource that you help fix that. Let me show you what we can do. And through our organization, we have 139 program members in Project Canine Hero right now. About 70 are living today. We've got several in the ER right now. Paid a bill yesterday, $3,500 for Canine 10, who's in Virginia, who has a diabetic reaction right now. That handler's still on active duty in the Coast Guard. The Coast Guard isn't paying the $3,500, but our organization is, and we do that through donors, people who get on our website at projectcaninehero.org and donate. And it's my goal to bring those types of situations. I just do it. They happen every day in our organization. One's happening today, and bring those bring awareness to others that, hey, these dogs do have problems in retirement, just like soldiers do, whether it be injuries or things. But at least we have the VA, and it may not be the best program in the world, but it is at least a resource. And so
Right.
we're really working hard to really change that, and we're doing great things. Through we have the Canine Hero Awards coming up November 4th in Washington, D.C. And the Canine Hero Awards is going to help us showcase 7 of the nation's top military working dogs, police canines, fire service, and search and rescue. And I think we're working with some major networks right now to have that broadcasted on TV. And I think when we show their stories and what they do for our communities and what they do for our country, it's really going to help bring some awareness as to why we need to make sure they're being taken care of in retirement.
Yeah, it seems like it's kind of twofold. Yes, you definitely need the donation piece, right? Because you have to put that money forward. And then you have that legislation piece. And it just doesn't make much sense that if they're making the rules, right? They say like, go and this dog is going to do this job. We're going to use these animals to do this job to protect our country. But it's like they stopped there with the description. They didn't put any thought into the actual continuing life of that animal.
That's right.
That's asinine. That's back asswards.
Well, that's why we exist. And, I quit my government job, where I could retire and have my benefits and have my retirement, my medical, so I could pursue my passion of this nonprofit. And, it's really paid off. I started in 2016. I didn't quit the government until 2017, right in the mid of my career. With no compensation to do so, just taking a risk on what I believe in and what I think is doing the right thing. And, I'm honored to have so many supporters and followers who believe in what we do. And if it wasn't for all those people getting on our website, following us on our social media, Project Canine Hero, which is on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of those things, and being a good backing, we wouldn't be able to be out here and do what we're doing.
Yeah, like, I don't know, can you talk about what you're actually doing right now while you're in that park, or is that something?
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. I had a meeting with the local sheriff here in Marion County. We're building a $5 to $10 million rehab rehoming facility. It's going to be one of the greatest that I know of in the nation, if not possibly the world. That's going to help take in these retired dogs. We're going to have adoption cabins there. And since we're building it here in Marion County, Tennessee, the Marion County Sheriff's Office doesn't have a police canine yet. And I'm working with them to get one donated for this area that's going to serve the community where our building's going to be. I just had a meeting with the sheriff, and I'm just right over here at the sheriff's office while I'm in a local park. And we're, Project Canine Hero is going to pay for the dog, going to pay for the training, going to pay for the lodging, going to pay for everything through certification and give back to the community. So, we're a lot more than just an organization that raises money and pays dog bills. We're giving back to the community. We're having the rehab rehoming. We got laws and legislation out there that we're trying to change the way the government reacts to their retirement. And, we're honoring them through our Canine Hero Awards. If you'll see, I'm wearing a shirt here that says REDD. That's something we've trademarked and registered. That stands for Remember Every Dog Deployed. What people can wear, out there on Fridays to support every dog that we have downrange. So we have a lot of great things. All these things can be found on our shop at projectcaninehero.org under the shop. And it's just a way to give back and donate and get some pretty good swag out of it. And I know you've got some from some of our last meetings and things like that. Yeah. So, it's really good stuff.
I've got a sweatshirt that I got from there. I have, which now since I live in Scottsdale, Arizona, I've got to update my swag to not like all the winter freezing stuff. So I just, when you were saying that, I was like, I got to get some tank tops and some hats because that's basically going to be my wardrobe now. But socks, yeah. Before I had met you, I had no idea. Like, yes, I know they're service animals, but I just assumed that they were taken care of, and it was, just ignorance on my part. No idea the actual ins and outs and what these dogs. I mean, some of the stories you've told me really pulls at your heart. I mean, especially when there are two, you have a dog and the owner connected, and then per se that person gets a change of orders or something and can't take the dog with them, or just their lifestyle doesn't allow them to have that dog taken into retirement. Like, I mean, that must break at that human's heart. And then what do you do if you weren't here? Like, what happens to these dogs normally without like Canine Project Canine Hero? What
Well, one or two things are gonna happen. So, about 90% of the handlers or owners I'm finding do get to keep their dogs. But like you said, maybe it's a lifestyle. Maybe they got a small child at home. The dog just is a little aggressive towards children and they can't have it. Maybe they're taking a job overseas. Maybe they're taking on a new role. Whatever the case may be, 10 to 15%, I would say, need a new home. And then we do get called to help with those cases. I'm going to Washington, D.C. on this weekend to work with one of the major federal police agencies there who has a dog that has some aggressive issues and who has recently been involved in some unwarranted bites. And I'm gonna actually physically take that dog, bring it back here to our rehab rehoming facility in Tennessee. Dogs like that would have been euthanized if not, because they're not adoptable by the public. They're already biting their trainers there and they're already having issues there. So those dogs would be euthanized. When it comes to the medical bills, as far as, let's say it's a soldier, it's a police officer, someone who adopted their dog but now has a $10,000 bill because it has lymphoma or lung cancer, and we see it all the time. One or two things will happen there. The dog will be put down because they can't afford to pay the medical bill, or that person will have to go into extreme personal financial debt, meaning they have to get out their personal credit card and put $5,000, $10,000 down on these surgeries. Anybody who has owned a dog before knows that that's about how much these surgeries can be. And they'll just have to do that. So we're here as a resource to raise money legally, tax deductible through our national 501c3. We're registered in all 50 states to solicit money. And then they can apply for services on our website at projectcaninehero.org. And then we pay those bills 100% directly to the vets or directly to the surgeon. We don't reimburse them. We call with our credit card and take care of it right there.
Yeah, nice and easy and clean. Do you think, can dogs have like, I don't know, PTS, right? Like all of these things, like they're like this dog that you're going to in Washington. I'm just curious that they're trained for certain, but right, everybody, just like every human, the wiring in our brain and how we handle things is completely different per person. Somebody might think it's not a big deal and handle things fine. Another person, it breaks them. It breaks them emotionally and spiritually. Do you feel like dogs are kind of like that too? They have that?
I think they can be. I think, every dog comes from different circumstances. We have military working dog Rosso at our facility. He served 10 Secret Service missions, protected the president of Japan, and did a terror overseas operation Inherent Resolve as the Air Force Commendation Medal. He was going to be euthanized because he had bit a lot of people unwanted. He's angry. He's kind of like that salty veteran who just don't like to be around people. Don't come around me. I don't want anyone near me. He's good with me as his handler now. And that's something, even as a CEO, that I have to take on because we don't have a large enough staff for me to have a dedicated, person to work with the special cases. I haven't had an issue with him, but I certainly can't let him around people. And my point is, through his travels around the world, this is how he's become. But he was selected to be an aggressive patrol dog. He was trained. He was enhanced. He was rewarded for such. And the fact that we used him in the government until he was 10 years old and said, well, time for Rosso to retire, but he's bit a lot of people. We can't adopt him in the public. That doesn't mean we should put him down. There needs to be resources out there like our organization so he can come to. And I'm so happy and glad that the United States government has a trust and knowledge in me and my program to give us the call and say, hey, can you take Rosso? And I actually flew out to Fairchild Air Force Base, Spokane, Washington myself in December. Spent a week there working with the trainer and the handler one-on-one and drove Rosso all the way back here. He's living and thriving well today. For those who follow us on our Facebook page, projectcaninehero.org, I do live videos with Rosso about once a week. You can see him playing. You can see how good he's doing. But, my point is, Rosso's not going to change. he's not going to all of a sudden start being real friendly with everybody. What I do is I learn all the triggers, and I know what upsets Russ. So being around other people, running vehicles, loud noises, generators, bicycles, anyone near me, and I remove every trigger out of his life. And I make it a positive environment where he's living. He's got a nice temporary, one of our condos out there while we're building our larger facility. And we make sure we don't engage with those things that make him upset. And in doing such, he's living in a great life. But in no way do I think I could ever change, and I wouldn't even try. You know, he's 11 years old. He's got a few years left. Let him live his life in retirement. But there's no making him some really nice teddy bear service. It's just not going to happen.
Just not. Oh, I love that. Matt talks about how, I mean, your heart, you just see it for what it is. And the reason people know is because all of the work you're doing, putting yourself out there, educating, you know, really putting service back into the community. That's why you're so trusted across this country. And that's why so many people are, you know about you. Like even going into the government and saying like, no, we got to change these laws. We have to make them better, you know, be more proactive in the care. And then just knowing, like, you were just saying, knowing him for what it is. You created this. It was created. He was created to be amazing and do a great job at what he did. Now, don't like get pissed at him because he is exactly what he is. Let him
Exactly.
life. He's got a couple of years left. Let him like live it up the best he can.
Yeah, that's what we do out here, and that's why, you know, for those who want to look more about our capital campaign, we're raising money for it now to build our permanent rehabilitation rehoming center. It's on our website at projectcanaanhero.org. In the menu button, you'll see capital campaign. You can watch a nice video of what we're doing. We're getting a lot of great sponsors involved. I had some great meetings this week. Some corporate entities looking to get involved. So, you know, we're bringing on a new board member and the new board member's, you know, job is to help us raise the funding for this $5 million facility here on 177 acres that has 6 buildings, adoption cabins, corporate headquarters, play areas, splash areas, things where these dogs can come out and have just an amazing retirement and not have to worry about getting themselves into legal trouble or trouble where they're going to bite somebody or any of that. They're just going to have a good life.
Before I let you go, tell me about the adoption. Like, who is your like avatar adoptee? Is that what I would like? A human would be the adoptee? No, that would be the dog. Whatever.
Yeah. So we do have an application on our website. We have several dogs out there now. Not every dog's able to be adopted. Like we're not going to adopt Roscoe out. He needs to stay there. But then again, we get dogs in like Clara, who we just had, and Lex. Again, people have been following us, have been on our page. They've seen the videos of these dogs that just needed homes, and they got great behavior. You know, not every dog's aggressive. Some just need a new home. And we have that application out there. When we do have dogs available, we post them on our social media, especially on Facebook, Instagram, and my personal LinkedIn at Jason at Project Canine Hero on there. And I usually have an opportunity out there for those to apply through our website. We have about a 50 questionnaire process. And then for those who may be vetted out, and I fully vet them out myself, and we select them, we're going to have the adoption cabins in place. And that's where you would come down with your family for at least 2 days, work one-on-one with us, play with the dog, maybe even have it stay in the, you know, in the room with you. Make sure it's not only a good fit for your family, but it's a good fit for the dog, and not leave until we all feel comfortable that we're doing the right thing.
Yep. This is why love and life has brought you exactly to where you are. You are living out your truth. I love it. But before I let you go, you know, you have to answer the last question of the day. In this moment right now, as you're sitting in the park and it looks like a beautiful sky out there and weather, what does love mean to you, Jason?
Oh, that's a great question. I think love to me, whether that be in personal or, you know, professional or career, is actually following your passion without compromise. Whether that be, like I said, with a spouse or significant other, or with your job and career. And I'm living proof of that. As far as you know, I've done very well in the government world, in the job world, and you know, I quit all of that and left all of that behind so I could follow my passion, my true passion, which is what we're doing here with Project Canine Hero.
You're walking your talk, living your truth, right? That is what lead with love. And Live your truth, speak your truth. So thank you so much for sharing everything that you have going on, taking time. You're a busy, busy man. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And to everybody else out there, remember, as always, love hard, love true, and love proactive. Until next time, take care. Okay. It's not ending. It's not ending.